What's up, Gemini? I'm Chris. Welcome to your August Horoscope. Now, if you're new here, welcome to our house. If you've been with us for a while, thank you for coming back. Now, as you guys know, I've been gone for a little while, but getting life together. I'll have a little video if you're interested in knowing what I was doing, what's been going on with me. But otherwise, as you can see, I moved. I'm in a new apartment. I got this amazing new camera setup and microphone and all this whole little professional setup here. I'm happy to be back with you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, share if you like this video, as well as you can go to my website for more information, private readings. I'm only going to have very few this month. I'm going to focus my energy here, so maybe 5 to 10 available for the whole month, and then donations you can make to the channel as well. Alright, Gemini, so preparing for this reading, I got a lot of downloads here. We just came out of Mercury retrograde, thank God. Eclipse season is over, thank God. Jupiter is going direct again, thank God. So things are turning up. But I still feel like we're in the process of release. The music that came on here, I love that it's like bells and gongs for my first air sign reading of the month. You know, bells are kind of clearing. You know, when you clear your house, people usually use incense and smoke as the air element to clean your house, but bells are a really good way to clear your house's energy. And I think that's what's happening right now, Gemini. We're clearing our energy and we're starting fresh. And I think this month we have a little bit of discomfort in the changes that are happening. The changes that eclipse season brought around, usually in my anecdotal experience, can take about a month or so to set in. So I think now in August, the revelations we had in July and June through eclipse season, I think now start to come into effect. And some of the information I got here, this word I kept getting in my head was beautiful dance. I think right now, Gemini is sort of relearning how we interact with the world, how we interact in our relationships, and how we interact with ourselves. We're doing things differently now. We have to emphasize this month on a nourishing of self. And that doesn't mean to be rude to other people, to block people out. You know, I think sometimes in the spiritual work, we sort of put such an emphasis on self-care that people say things like, you know, don't respond to people. Be a little rude, like don't help other people out. And that's not exactly what we want to do here. I think this month, Gemini, we can end the month on a bit of a natural high. Going into September, going to Virgo season, our sister sign, our mercurial sister sign, there's a potential for being on a natural high in life. But the information I was getting coming in was like that high is going to be very dependent on the work we do, but specifically on how comfortable we can become with the discomfort that change brings. I think this month, Gemini, is I was getting also a feeling of like cool air going across the skin. And I think this is a month where we have to be really focused on how we keep ourselves cool. During this change, we are going to maybe have a lot of feelings. We're going to be uncomfortable. And I think it's very important, Gemini, to be very careful with how we treat other people this month. If you're angry with people, it's okay to be angry, but kind of keep it to yourself. Journal. Do whatever you have to do to get it out of you, but be very gentle, I think, with the people around you, because I think this month there are people around us who might be hurting and might be feeling some sort of way. And the last thing we want to do, Gemini, right now is lash out. The last thing we want to do is take our inner feelings and like kind of put them on other people this month. So be very gentle with people as much as you can. Central situation for the month of August, Gemini, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So what this is saying, this is you know, the sort of shadow of Jupiter retrograde, right? Going direct. Jupiter rules the Wheel of Fortune. But what I feel when I look at this, Gemini, is that there's an internal shift that's happening. There's a big emphasis, starting off the reading with the reverse card, on the internal. On how we now change ourselves internally, on the work we do, like I said, with the eclipse season, right? This is the month where those shifts start to come into being. And a lot of those shifts, we're not going to feel necessarily all of the payoffs externally in the month of August. Here with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, a lot of those changes that are happening are internal. We're changing our own sense of ourselves. We're changing our own ideas about what it means to be prosperous, what it means to be successful. And also with reverse, I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, we often talk about fate and how certain things are happening out of our control. And here I think the message here, Gemini, is that we are gaining control of self. We're gaining control of the inner parts of ourselves that will translate into our external success going into September. So what are the things, Gemini, that you're doing this month that are going to leave you in a place where that makes it possible to prosper externally? Here you go, Gemini. In our ideals, we have the Four of Pentacles. What this says to me is that we're really desiring stability. We're really desiring just this feeling like we're a sign that can be pretty good about change and we're mutable, right? But I think we've just kind of had enough of change. I think we've had enough of shifts. And what a contrast here, right? With the Wheel of Fortune, and then in our deals, the Four of Pentacles that wants us to stay still, that wants us to be secure, that wants like a breath, right? We want our finances to sort of finally be stable. This is also saying consistency. I think we just want some consistency right now, Gemini. Consistency in the people around us, but more importantly, the people within ourselves, not the people. what a Freudian slip. Freudian slip. The people inside of ourselves when we're talking about Gemini. We want to feel stable. We want security in our lives. We want things to just feel like that. Can there be like a couple of months where just things are going smoothly, where just things are okay, where it's not like having to deal with all these ups and downs of emotions, of financial stability, of our relationships with others? Like, we just want to feel secure right now. And that's why I think that Virgo season, ironic I said Virgo season, right? Now we have the Magician ruling Mercury. Virgo season brings that potential. But again, like I said in the beginning, it's about how much work we do on the inside, how much we can go along for the ride of what's changing inside of us. Starting out in the past, Gemini, we have the Magician. So what this says to me is that there might have been a confidence in the past, a sort of sense of, I know what I'm doing, I know what my direction is, I know what's going on, I know who I am. But coming in the past here, Gemini, sort of suggests that maybe in this past few months, those feelings have been shaken up. That confidence has maybe been a little dented here. But what I also want to say, what's coming to me when I look at this card, is that we can't forget where that confidence came from. And what that confidence came from is knowing that we have skills, knowing we have talents, knowing that we're great communicators, knowing that we know how to connect to people, knowing that we know how to make things happen. And I think the message here, Gemini, is as much as things are changing, as much as maybe we're not feeling as high on ourselves as we used to, that this month we sort of have to keep reminding ourselves of what we're good at. Look at the things that we do well. And again, I think that going into Virgo season, if we ride along with this change, we will find ourselves in a position of stability. Now here we have the Eight of Pentacles. So Gemini, I think that this is a month, especially with regards to finances already, I'm feeling this, and what we create in the world, that is going to be changing to us. It's going to shift, right? Here with the Eight of Pentacles, this furthers what I was saying about the sense that we knew what we were doing. We knew what our track was. We knew what our career goals were. And Gemini, I think the idea here, especially with this card falling now next to the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, is that those ideas have changed. They haven't gone away, right? We don't have a card here that's saying that, things are bad. It's just in reverse. It's temporarily internal. It's temporarily changing. So Gemini, this month also, as we sort of navigate like the end of summer here, right? Or like the heart of summer, let's say. We need to reassess what now gives our life purpose. The lack of clarity, the feeling of maybe some lack of sureness it can be a gift. It can be a gift. We recalibrate. We figure out who we are now. What is in line with our goals now? how can we translate the person we've always been, the gifts we've had, the skills we have, into who we are now and what's changing in our lives in a way that brings new stability. Recent past, Gemini, we have the King of Wands in reverse. So I think this is us, and I think this is us having that. This is Mercury retrograde, I think, guys. This is a little confusion. The King of Wands has an unshakable will, an unshakable focus. He has drive, he has passion. But in reverse here, I think that's been stifled a little bit. That our sense of sureness has taken a little hit. But the point is, Gemini, not to wallow. The point is to find your focus again. The point is to use this period of going within and soul searching, the things that eclipse season shook loose in us, the things that Mercury retrograde made us reflect on. Now that these things are going direct, what are we focusing on now? I feel like there may have been things that fell away that now are making space for more things to happen. I know for me, I took a major step this month to breaking a bad habit. And it's been fucking hard. Ask the people around me. I haven't been super sweet. Not like an asshole, but a little cranky. But that's what I'm getting at as in the discomfort, right? Because when you first start breaking a habit, you feel like that withdrawal. You feel like, more than the withdrawal, I think you feel like the empty space that habit being gone is creating. But again, what this does for us, Gemini, and let's say maybe if it's not a habit for you, it could be a person, it could be a job, it could be anything that in your life you've decided doesn't suit you anymore. And now we find our place. Gemini, Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles in reverse as our turning point. I don't know why I can't speak in this video. Three of Pentacles in reverse in our turning point. So what this says to me, guys, is that there's creative buildup. Do you see how, like, you know when a creative person isn't creating, or a person who's just like meant to do something that they're not doing? Like how you can get angry, how you can get maybe a little mean, how you can get just like not pleasant to be around. This is what's pushing us forward, Gemini. This is why I gave up the habit I gave up. Fuck it, I'll just tell you, I gave up smoking weed this month. It's been a lifelong habit, and I don't think it's destructive. But it was blocking me from being productive. It's not necessarily the reason I haven't been here. The reason I haven't been here is like some emotional stuff, some real life stuff. Like I was couch surfing for a little while because I didn't have a place to live. Now I have a beautiful apartment. It turned out way better than I could have ever imagined. But right now, Gemini, we're kind of tired of not creating. There's something in us that hasn't been manifesting. There's some creative force. There's some sense of us not really showing up in the world in the way that we want to, that's now driving us to make changes. Three of Pentacles is also a sense of collaboration. Any three I sort of see collaborative, right? How have we not been connecting with people? Very pentacle heavy reading so far, Gemini. So what I said is that we are looking at our careers specifically, I think, and our money and what our money is doing for us. I know for me, my finances have sort of caused a bit of a depression for me. Not being here doing these videos, I wasn't able to because I wasn't in a great place, but at the same time, it was making me more depressed. So Gemini, going into August, it's about what part of ourselves have we been sort of stifling? What kind of part of ourselves have we been damming up that now needs to be released? And that's why I said be very careful with how we treat people, because in this release, it may be possible to go too far, to be a little harsh with people, to be harsh on ourselves. I think we've been harsh on ourselves And that's why there's this potential maybe to lash out, to not care about how other people feel. And I'm not saying you have to be all love and light with people. Be angry if someone deserves your anger, like be angry. But I think going to September, if we choose to not act on those things, we'll find ourselves in a much better place. We'll find, like, I think if you do things this month, Gemini, that are tied to your emotions and tied to frustrations you might be feeling in your personal life, in September you're going to regret it. You're going to look at people maybe who you've hurt or things you distance yourself from, and remember all those things that person did for you. And then maybe feel like a piece of shit for not, being there for them when you needed. More Pentacles here, Gemini. Going into our future, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So what we're doing is we're investing right now. What we're doing is maybe the thing that we might consider boring, but that's really important for our future. Putting our passions into action. But with the Seven of Pentacles, there's a heavy emphasis on timing. There's a heavy emphasis on the work. So I think this is two things, Gemini. This is saying this month we're going to be putting time and effort into ourselves, into change, into our passions, into the things we want to create. But what this is also saying is that we are harvesting still the work that we've been doing. We're harvesting the internal shifts that have been going on. We're going to start to see in the material world, we're going to start to see, by going into September, change. And we're going to start to see the results of the work we've been doing. But the emphasis still here, Gemini, right now is on the work itself. The Four of Pentacles, we don't get there just by one day waking up and saying this is what we want. We put in work. So it's summertime, right? It's Leo season. Things are getting better. Jupiter is going direct, and I think that's why there's all this potential for making money and for our luck to change. Sun in reverse. It's talking about Leo season, right? But with the Sun in reverse, I feel like we are working on our internal happiness. That's why I said in the beginning, we have to figure out how to nourish ourselves. We have to figure out how to keep ourselves cool this month. This is not about going through life expecting people to make you happy, expecting your circumstances to make you happy. The real reason I quit weed this month is so that I could get in touch and stop escaping. Because when you smoke weed, if you do, it makes you feel like everything's okay. And I wanted to face this. I wanted to face the parts of myself that felt like life is upside down, that life is not what it could be. With the Sun in reverse, it's like we feel all this potential. We know that happiness is there. We know that success is there. We know that abundance is there. Two cards of lots of fortune and success and happiness falling right next to each other, but in reverse. It's not that we're blocked, Gemini. It's not we're figuring out how to give that to ourselves, how to be more present for ourselves, how to be more present in our own lives, how to give to ourselves. And again, this doesn't mean being a dick to the people around you. It might mean having to withdraw a little bit. But in withdrawing, it's about introspection, it's about going deep, it's going within, it's about not avoiding. More than anything, Gemini, that's what I want to say. This is about not avoiding the parts of you that are feeling unhappy. It's not distracting yourself. This month, Gemini, we have to face it. That's why I said in the beginning, the stability that comes in September, the high that comes in September is going to depend on how much you can deal with change. How much you can deal with the discomfort of change. Right? Because in our cards, in this energy, the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun are there. The Magician is there. These cards are in our reading. It's in our energy. But it's up to us. And where we put our focus and where we put our attention and where we put our energy, that's going to determine how prosperous we can be. Now, of course, that could be for anybody at any time, but Gemini, I think that what this is saying is that there's huge potential to actually have that. There's huge potential to actually make your dreams come true, to pick yourself up, to get organized, to get your health back in shape, to get your home in order, right? Do a lot of cleaning this month. Get back into doing some exercise. Think about how you're feeding yourself. Beautiful. You see what I'm saying? I think this, to me, this is a Virgo card. The Queen of Pentacles, ending out our reading. This is what I was just saying about the end of the month, and then look, we were back full circle to the beginning of the reading. Virgo season, stability, comforts, feeling okay in a way that maybe we haven't in a while. What did I say about cleaning your house, taking care of yourself, taking care of your health, organizing your finances? The Queen of Pentacles is like what we get when we give ourselves love, when we acknowledge the abundance of the universe, when we have an abundance mindset, right? Abundance mindset meaning like we know what's available to us. We know that we can take and that there's still more to be given. We can take for ourselves. We can do for ourselves. Now, Gemini, some of you might have Virgo. I think Virgo is coming up a lot here. I know my boo's a Virgo, so his birthday's at the end of August. So there's a lot of love. There's a lot of feeling of connectedness to family, to friends, to boyfriends and girlfriends and spouses and children and whatever it is. Both this person could be in your life in the month of August, right? This sort of Virgo earth sign energy. But if not, this is us embodying this energy. Embodying this sense of self-care, embodying this sense of like we're worth it. Geminis can be kind of destructive sometimes. I think we have such high standards for ourselves that, or such a great idea of ourselves that we can be very hard on ourselves. I think that's something people take for granted with Geminis. We're not just arrogant and pompous. We are very hard on ourselves. We hold ourselves to very high standards. And the trick this month, Gemini, is to not beat yourself up for wherever you find yourself in your life. The trick this month is to give yourself props for what you do have, for what you have accomplished. If you're still struggling to break free of something, if you're still struggling to get your money in order, if you're still struggling to get the body that you want or the career that you want or your finances, like, this month is asking you to be gentle with yourself. Because when you're being hard on yourself, you get stuck here, right? I want happiness, but I can't get it. I want happiness, but I can't get it. The Queen of Pentacles just like draws it to herself. Bottom of the deck, Gemini, 8 of Cups. What did I say about release? What did I say about the things that were weighing down on us are now being let go of? And that's why all this is happening. That's why there's all this potential for success and all this potential for our lives to be popping. But we have to be okay. The 8 of Cups is like ripping off a Band-Aid. It's like blocking that person. It's like something that's not easy, something that's not comfortable, but it's time. And there's something in your life, Gemini, where it was just time to move on from. Time to let go of. A mindset, a person, a relationship, a job, a bad habit. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I don't want anything I said about smoking. I think it's great. And more power to you if you can do it and be functional. I just have so much that I'm trying to accomplish right now in life that I can't distract myself and be zonked out and you know, like I was abusing it. Outcome card for the month, Gemini, 9 of Wands. Persistence. Having the energy to keep going and fighting for yourself and fighting for what you want. This is not comfortable. This is hard. This requires a lot of work. This can feel lonely. Now the trick, Gemini, I think is maybe to pull back a little bit from the world, but just a little bit. Like with this card, there's a potential for cutting yourself off too much. And that's what I said, like don't burn bridges with people this month. If you're mad and you need to get away from a situation, just withdraw a little bit. Find your own ways to cope with whatever's going on. The Knight of Wands, can be us burning bridges and being destructive and being shitty to our friends and our loved ones. And this month, Gemini, is a month to be the bigger person, and I hate that. Like, sometimes you just need to tell a bitch about themselves, but right now, this month, Gemini, if you are the bigger person, if you swallow the parts of you that want to lash out, or maybe tell someone about themselves, do that Leo thing where you just claw somebody open, you're gonna regret it. In September, you're going to regret it, because things are going to get better, and you don't want to find yourselves alone. You don't want to find yourselves with people thinking that you're a piece of shit and not wanting to be around you. All right, Gemini, so let's go ahead and pull one last bit of one last bit of advice from the Oracle for guidance, advice from spirit guides, the universe at large. What's one last bit of advice that we have for Gemini going into August? The Seeker. Gemini, you have to listen to what the universe is telling you right now. This is why I said, like, when you have these the timing element of the Eight of Cups, the universe is being very clear. This isn't about reading too much into things. This is just being receptive. Right? Being receptive to what the feedback you're getting from people. Being receptive to the feedback you're getting from the universe. Also, when I see this card, I think very much about trusting yourself. About learning how to follow your own intuition and your own judgment and your own intellect. They say one of the best ways to start developing your intuition is to stop asking for advice about everything. Because you learn how to tap into yourself, you learn how to go within and listen to what's happening within. To listen to the part of yourself that knows best. So Gemini, in August, quiet your mind and listen to what's being told to you. It's going to be very obvious what needs to go. It's going to be very obvious what direction you need to go in. The universe is speaking to you. You just have to listen. All right, Gemini. You have a great month. Oh, real quick before we go, I have this sign here because I've been a little troubled by what's been going on in politics lately, and I don't want this to be a political discussion. I don't think that this is political, right? I'm not trying to make a partisan case here. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, it doesn't matter. But what I've been seeing a lot happening is sort of a dehumanization of people, specifically with regards to immigrants and specifically with regards to how we talk about them. When we call people illegals, it's dehumanizing. And when we dehumanize people, it's a really slippery slope to human rights abuses being taken and happening, right? So guys, in our house, we just want to be mindful and treat people with respect and treat people with humanity. It doesn't matter what you believe policy should be. That's okay. We can have those debates. You're welcome here. We can have those conversations. But don't lose our humanity, right? Don't lose our humanity in how we talk and think about other humans. These are our loved ones for many people. These are our families. These are our neighbors. These are part of our human family, right? So just be very mindful about when you talk about these things. Illegals, aliens. That's making somebody into less than human. All right, guys. I love you so much. On that note, have a great month. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.